Hey there, fellow skeptics. Lester here. Just going to give another update. And I know I teased about going through my Linux journey, but things have been kind of been in a scramble. So, meaning I've gotten things set up where I'm going boom, 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 one thing after another. So I have the page up for the slackbuilds.org repository where I get all my applications and do my dependency tracking, if you will. Off the bat, I think I mentioned it before, but yes, the Slack builds repository had updated the Wine version to include 9.0. Some tidbits here, if you can see it already. Multi-library, and I think I mentioned it, multi-library or 32-bit setups aren't a requirement because Wine can go between, which is cool. But I've noticed with certain things I've tried to set up as far as games go, a little bit of herky-jerky performance, especially when I try to run Spec Ops The Line. So I'm gonna see if I can do this right here with Lutris. I had found a way to integrate my Lutris setup with the installation process of a given game, particularly when I have the Windows related game from GOG.com. And if I could track where my Lutris window is, it might be in another desktop. Let's see. Interesting. Did I not have it? So I'm just going to. It's probably some in other monitor in another workspace. So yes, Lutris. That was the. I wouldn't say it took me too long, but it was something I had to really build piece by piece. You can tell, okay, there's 3 chief dependencies. I think it was this one that had dependency upon dependency upon dependency. So I'm going to try to bring that document up. I'm really digging this setup, and I know Windows has something similar with their search glass, with the magnifying glass on the taskbar. Not my cup of tea. But let's see if I can bring this up and this will show. Yep. And the one thing, I don't know if it's a limitation with a spreadsheet or with LibreOffice, the spreadsheet component to LibreOffice, but I had to start adding comments because the dependency list started adding up. Like, really started adding up for particular dependencies, as you can tell with these. So Lutris took a while. Lutris was cool in that it launched without an issue. Let me see if I can bring this up. There it goes. That's what I wanted to highlight. So here's that. And so I was trying to integrate Steam. I'll probably do some reading up on it, but it's not a deal breaker because as far as the updates go, and with respect to, oh, no wonder it was. Let me go ahead and move this to another. Let's see, pin launcher on streaming. me close this down and get back to the right. My apologies there, guys. Let me close this down real quick. Yep, that was one of the customizations I had done. I was gonna highlight my customizations I've done up to this point. So yeah, there's that. Let me close that down for you guys. I'm gonna bring up Lutris again. It's like I'm done with this document. Thank you for your patience while I try to get that sorted out. Let's see. Let me do that again. That's interesting. Anyway, I think you saw what you needed to see. Let me go back there. Let me see if I can launch. So the interesting thing, so like I mentioned, I have my Steam or my wine setup. So the fun thing about it is I can launch both Steam installations. So I've got a Windows Steam running via Wine, and then I have the native Steam for Linux. And it's a nice little trade-off in that I can run both concurrently and I don't feel the pressure. I don't feel like I'm out of sorts in terms of how I want a game. I do want to report, and I'll probably do some more playthroughs. I've intended to do more playthroughs. So I'm gonna see if I can demonstrate that on the fly here. You're probably seeing, okay, this one, just for the uninitiated, this is going to be the native Steam for Linux, and this is the Windows Steam. See if I can bring it over to this. I think I just launched the Windows Steam. It can get a little confusing, but let me see if I can provide a good demonstration on the difference. Alright, and if you guys want to be a contact of mine on Steam, I'm down. Just keep in mind, as you've probably seen a lot of my dissertations, quote unquote, about online gaming, when I don't really multiplayer or do any online multiplayer too much, just because of my experience. And you've heard me say something about the demographics being much younger. It's not necessarily a de facto immaturity with the age or the proportion of age to maturity, but I've just come across too much in my time gaming and just interpersonal experience. I could be wrong, I'm always willing to be stood corrected. I'm okay with that. It's just, as long as we come up with a good setup for online multiplayer, like a good co-op, I'm down. Just gotta come up with some good conditions, because I know I've done that with my old coworkers. We run into some jerks online that we didn't really have to have them. So it's gotta be something more intimate. That's just me when it comes to online multiplayer. I have no problem with that. But I do want to give at least a good progress report. So one thing you can tell, you could tell here, I can play Ooh. It's got all I needed here. So at least I can tell this is the Windows instance. Because on the Linux one, I'm going to try to bring that up as well. Again, it's going to be this one. That's the Linux native. And I'm going to see if that window's going to show up. Oh. Let's see. The nice thing about the Linux native, I can say off the bat, is I can tell that a port has been made for Linux, and I can natively install it in Linux, and it'll run. Quick examples from the get-go: the Civilization series. I know for sure they've got a Linux port, and this Cold War Assault. I think that's it had its quirks, but it's a fun game nonetheless. I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna see what the performance is. I don't know if I can provide a playthrough. There it goes. I'm gonna see if it's any better, because I know you're just looking at the page. I'll probably see if I can go beyond what I had experienced initially, which was I would get to the interface, I would get to the intro, and I would get to a mission setup, and then it would just stall. It would take me to a possibility of starting up the mission, but then it would be like a blank screen. I'm gonna go ahead and let's see if I can continue. Okay. I think this is further than before, because I don't think I was able to. Although I gotta say, I have to admit, it's stuttery. I would imagine that the performance will be less than desirable. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty bad. I'll say that off the bat from the get-go. Well, we'll see. It's gotten farther than previous iterations, so I can say that for sure. Yeah, it looks bad. I'll see if I can provide an updated clip. Yeah, there are graphical anomalies. Yeah, pretty bad. I'm going to stop. I'm going to confirm. And at the very least, there have been some games that I've been able to launch. My Capcom beat 'em up, my King of Fighters, not very demanding on resources and what have you. Mullet Mad Jack, it runs like it would on Windows, so there's that. So at least I can game more in Linux, and I don't have to go into my Windows partition all that much. So I know there are clearly games that I'll need to run. I'll need to go into Windows for, but yeah. All right. Well, just wanted to give a gaming update so I can provide more walkthroughs. I have other games to install, but I've tested other installations I've done last night. So it's something I had on the back burner, maybe for too long. But again, I appreciate your time, fellow skeptics, your patience as I'm working through my life stuff, as you guys have already known. Getting my computer back up to speed, working the way I need it to work. So there's that. So until next video, fellow skeptics, peace, and I'll catch you all on the other side.